Welcome to Wine Vault TV, New Zealand's most passionate wine program. Here I've got the owner of Morton Estate on the eve, or the night of the launch of Mimi, the new sparkling wine, which is, I guess, a new chapter in Morton's history.
It is.
And a pretty long history in New Zealand wine terms.
We've been making sparkling wine for, I think, 30 years now.
Which
learning every year.
As most good wineries do. And what's so significant about Mimi?
Well, generally we've gone along with, we do everything under the method traditionnel.
Yep.
So we have a minimum of 18 months on lease. We wanted to bring in a lots of capital involved in that. So we wanted to bring in a slightly more approachable wine, and so Mimi's on lease for 9 months, but still made in the bottle that you drink it out of. So it's not carbonated or it's not
No, we're seeing that right now, kind of a lot of nameless wineries that are just using that technique of carbonating their Sauvignon Blanc or their Pinot Gris, and
it's a good way to move some excess wine.
Exactly, especially with the lake of Sauvignon Blanc that's reported in New Zealand, and it's fitted a price point.
Yes.
Why did you not want to go down that route?
Because that's not what Morton stands for. Morton stands for doing it correctly, you know, from day one. In fact, we have our own nurseries, we own all our own vineyards, we do all our own packaging, so we have control from right at the beginning, the clones that we have, right through to the consumer.
And how did you get into wine?
Well, I retired in 1990, and
fairly young to retire?
Well, I was reasonably young, and I went and lived up in Whistler, and I still live in Whistler, but you can only do so many turns a year.
It's nice to be able to say that, isn't it?
Well, 1995, I bought Morton's as, I've always been interested in wine, but as a consumer, not as a, so I don't have any technical background in the wine business. And it's been a wonderful experience, or is a wonderful experience. Lots to learn, because there are so many complexities in terms of the business and running the business.
Yeah. What did you do before wine?
Well,
to retire at 90,
well,
in 1990?
I was an academic for quite a long time, but you don't make any money being an academic.
You certainly don't.
Then I went into stockbroking, but that was just before the crash, so I didn't make a lot of money out of that. But after the crash, and kind of like where we are now, when doors close, windows open, or something like that. And I was very lucky I was able to do something with the New Zealand government, and I ended up owning a relatively large number of standalone houses, which we rented out, and we sold basically to the incumbent tenants.
Right, okay.
And that was very, but it was a project, you know. So, and it's, from a business point of view, it's really interesting to manage a project, and then, in this case, it was successful. But then it's much more difficult to manage a process, and making wine and selling wine is a process, and it's a long-term process, and you've got to take a long-term view, and that makes it much more complicated as a business, and that was actually one of the things that really attracted me to the business.
And Morton is also, like, with your heritage of being Scottish, you've got a Morton connection in Scotland.
Well, I don't personally have a Morton connection.
Yeah, but Morton as a name does.
Yes, yes.
Do you want to tell people about that?
Well, it started off, when I first bought the company, I didn't know a great deal about wine, so I tried to read avidly. And one of the books that I read was Classic Wine Labels of the World. And there was a Morton Estate label was in the book. And the write-up was that it was founded by Morton Brown, who was an ex-Kiwi fruit trader, used car salesman, and Woolworths trainee. Now, I didn't think that was really quite the heritage that a company should have. And I then happened to be looking at an art book that I have, and I saw a picture of the Regent of Morton. And of course, there's all the history about the Regent of Morton, and unfortunately he was beheaded. Not exactly sure why he was beheaded, but either for his involvement in the murder of Darnley, or because he was Chancellor of the Exchequer and he didn't actually pass the taxes on to the King. one or the other, we're not sure. But notwithstanding that, you know, he's probably not the kind of image that we want for a Morton Estate, I thought it made a good, gave it some providence, or albeit rather tenuous.
Thank you very much, and hopefully good success on the launch tonight.
I hope so. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.